The Kieva Rus, the first Russian Slavic empire, which is often pretended to be an Ukrainian empire, which is practically not true, and not any Ukrainian man or Ukrainian ruler was implemented in the Kieva Rus leadership. The Kieva Rus annexed Ukraine and the Empire of Kiev, which practically existed and was overtaken by Russians. Kiev was built by Russians, not by Ukrainians first, mainly by religious people and religious patriarchs. Ukrainian propaganda often uses the Kieva Rus to prove that Ukraine existed longer than Russia. That basically proves the opposite, because Kiev was built by the Russian Rurik dynasty and patriarchs who worked for them, and the churches of Kiev were built by them. So basically Ukraine was founded by Russia, and Novgorod, the city from which the Kieva Rus was ruled, and the only city and only republic of the Kieva Rus which survived the later Mongol invasion. And that's basically because the later Russian Empire was ruled by only Russians and not by Belarusians or Ukrainians, because the Belarusians and Ukrainians suffered of the Mongol invasion and couldn't survive it or repel it. The Republic of Novgorod and the Kieva Rus, the Russian army, managed to repel it and actually won the Mongol War, which took long. Not in first place, they suffered many defeats, but in the end they won. And the three brothers who founded Kiev were basically ancestors of the Polan tribe, who was a tribe of Russians and Belarusians under today Ukrainian Dnieper River. And it's occasionally an incident where the leaders of the Kieva Rus, three ancestors of the Rurik dynasty, met with Vikings, Eastern Roman Vikings, to make an agreement of the Kieva Rus territory, because they conquered two republics which were occasionally dominated by the Byzantine Empire, which was an ally of the Roman Empire. So they made an agreement that the Roman Empire and the Byzantine Empire are not going to invade the Kieva Rus because they are Christians. The Byzantines were Christians, the Romans were Christians, so the Kieva Rus was also a Christian empire, which was later invaded by the Muslim Mongols. The territory of the Kieva Rus was occasionally small. Most of Middle Russia was conquered before the founding of the Russian Empire. Most of the territory of the Russian Empire was actually conquered and claimed by the Kieva Rus after the successful repel of the Mongol invasion. They had not Crimea, which was conquered by the Mongols. There was a Crimean Khanate. There was a Khan, a Mongol ruler who ruled over Crimea, and Kieva Rus occasionally conquered the Crimean Peninsula from the Mongols and later from the Ottomans. They had a small bit of land which has a land bridge to Crimea, but it's far away from the original Kieva Rus territory. So I do not know how they got there, and a small bit of land in central Russia. And later, after the Mongol invasion, they claimed 90% of modern Russia and like 70% of the Russian Empire later. The Kieva Rus was destroyed by the Mongol Empire. The Novgorod Republic of the Kieva Rus, the ruling republic of the Kieva Rus, survived, and the army of Novgorod later invaded Sweden and Finland and conquered it. But in this period of time, they repelled the invasion of the Kieva Rus and of the Mongol army, and basically killed off the complete Mongol army in a long war, which led to the complete destruction and the destruction of the Mongol Empire, basically, because Genghis Khan, 90% of the Mongol army was destroyed by the Novgorod invasion of the Crimean Peninsula and other khanates, which the Kievan Rus basically established as autonomous regions in their conquered territories, which the Kievan Rus recaptured. But the leader of the Mongol Empire and the leader of the Mongol army, which was not he fled to Mongolia, which was invaded by the Tengushians, by the Xia dynasty of the Chinese Empire. It was essentially not a Chinese empire. It was a Mongol Chinese dynasty which ruled over the territory, but not really a empire, as I can say from the Wikipedia. The Tengushians and the Chinese dynasty had met with the Rurik dynasty in Novgorod and made an agreement. Both sides were in war with the Mongol army, and both sides attacked the Mongol army, and the Tengushians managed to kill the leader of the Mongol Empire, Genghis Khan, and all the territory of the Mongolian army, which was claimed by Russia or China. Basically, Mongolia was even captured by the Novgorod army and was later implemented in the Russian Empire before they gained independence. The Kievan Rus had many republics. The principalities of Novgorod, which occasionally have the Karelians, which Finland claimed later after the independence, and after Russia won the war against Finland, they claimed the Karelians back. The principalities of Rostock, Sustal, principalities of Moron, Ryazan, the city of Ryazan and the city of Rostov, and Suzdal, principality of Chernigov, a Ukrainian city, principality of Pereyaslav, a Ukrainian city which is occasionally very small, principality of Kiev, principality of Volyn, which is Poland. The eastern part is Ukraine, the western part is Poland. Principality of Halych, which must be Bulgaria or Hungary. The nationalist symbol which the Ukrainian army uses is originally the symbol of Yaroslav, a Russian patriarch who was serving in Kiev but born and lived in Novgorod, which is very ironic that they use today original Russian symbol of a Russian religious movement, Orthodox movement, which had its origins originally not in Kiev, in Novgorod. The Kievan Rus essentially conquered Bulgaria and much of Poland, and they also had a war with the Byzantine Empire and essentially won and made a peace agreement against the Ottomans. They were kind of Russian Vikings, as I say, because they had a strong marine. They had many ground troops, but not modern equipped ground troops, and they had many of them, but they had no generals. They had one ruler who gave the orders to attack. Their navy was essentially the most effective tool they used in war, and they conquered many of their territories in Finland with the navy, and yeah, essentially Kievan Rus was a Russian version of the Vikings. For every Ukrainian propagandist who still calls the Kievan Rus the Kiev Empire or the Ukrainian Empire, or the proof that Ukraine existed longer than Russia, just Google it. It is literally called Old Russia, and that should be enough to silence the Ukrainian propagandists.
Ой, что-то мы засиделись, братцы, не пора ли нам разгуляться? Русь молодая, силы немерено, дайте коня мне да добрый меч. Ратью пойдем да погоним ворога, Русь молодая, сердцу дорога. Да не пристало нам сидеть пока там, дайте коня мне да добрый меч. Было это, братцы, давным-давно,